What's up, Digi-Destins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and guess what today is? We're going to talk about my top 10 pick of best cards in the upcoming Bt-16 set, being Observed or Beginning Observer. So without further ado, let's get into the video and talk about it. First off, my first pick is going to be the Metro Police Department Community Safety Bureau Cybercrime Division Investigation Unit 11 Digimon Crime Response Team 1. This thing is probably the longest name we'll ever get in Digimon. If they top this, somebody needs to be hired at Konami because your job is going to be secured over there for the wall of text. But the fact that this card is really what the deck needed, a searcher delay card that will help you get pieces in and get it into the trash, is really valuable for its delay effect because it reveals the top 3 cards. You may play 1 D Brigade or D Police and a play cost 4 or less among them without paying its cost, trash the rest. And then, you have reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with D Brigade, Digi Police traits among them to your hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck, then place this card into your battle area. All useful effects, all things that will go off when you need them to. And then this one does the same thing as the main effect. But the fact that this card is going to be a time waster if you say it out loud completely every time, this thing will take you like 30 seconds, if not to a minute, just to pronounce everything correctly. So with that, I do like the card. It gives a lot to D Brigade / Digi Police as an option that it kind of needed in the long term. So taking a look, next card we're going to talk about is Dino Bee himself. Dino Bee found home in 2 decks right now, and those 2 decks really needed it. So in Red Imperial Dramon definitely gave Dino Bee a home, but also Fenry Luga. So with Fenry Luga, this now gives you a way of getting, if you can get 2 Dino Bees, that Jagras turn now produces another one, and then you get to play it, and you get 2 attacks out of the deal, which the deck really needed to sometimes just get that final clinch pin, 2 extra damage. This is what the card did for that deck. So when DNA, you may play 1 level 5 or lower Digimon with free traits from its trash without paying its cost. Then one of your Digimon gains rush for the turn and may attack a player. That Dino Bee effect really does matter, especially if you're going to pass turn following up, anything like that. Very valuable, and I like the partition. It's an introduction into this thing, so as long as you have both evolution pieces of a level 4 in there, it'll spit it both out. It's all or nothing on that situation, but that does matter. I like Dino Bee being able to do Dino Bee shenanigans, and I think this is a really powerful card going forwards. I expect to see more red-purple themed decks. We'll start teching Dino Bee as their kind of like alternative game finisher. Then we have Dorugoromon. So this thing has the newest keyword, collision. During this attack, all your opponent's Digimon gain blocker, and your opponent blocks if possible. So that means you're forcing your opponent to do it. It gets around certain protection skills that say, I'm unaffected by Digimon effects. You're targeting the player has to do X, Y, Z. So this gets around, I'm prevented from doing things. This is just going to force them to block. And then, when Digivolving, if this Digimon has a Tamer with SOC traits in its Digi-Evolution, delete one of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon or Tamers. And all turns, when another Digimon is deleted, you may unsuspend this Digimon. So this allows you to attack in and get some, other ways of attacks, which is good. Especially because Collision's going to force them to block, and it's not bad, and Collision's not once per turn, so you could kill 2 bodies very easily with this. And especially since you do have inheritables that give you a DP boost, it does count and matter sometimes. Then we have Vikemon Ace. Vikemon Ace is really powerful of a card. Because it is an on play, and when Digivolving, it de-Digivolves 2 of one of your opponent's Digimon, and then all your opponent's Digimon with 1 or fewer cannot suspend until the end of their turn. When attacking, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 1 or fewer Digi-Evolutions. It's really good for source stripping, but the fact that Vikemon is a 7 play cost, that means it has multiple uses. This card is no doubt in my mind going to see a lot of competitive play. It's going to be splashed in any deck that can splash blue or even just black in it, just to give a very powerful ace. Being able to de-Digivolve on your opponent's turn, their big stack, can be very frightening because now they might lose an inheritable or a protection. That can lead to being a bad interruption. The fact that also this card is a 7 play cost, which means guess who can play him? Onimon Zwart. This thing will see play in the, what is it, Dark Masters deck, so be ready for that. But Vikemon is just super splashable in, as I said before, the blue and black themes. Use that with a grain of salt in how you want to take advantage of it. Then we have a Tyrant Tyron. The fact when Digivolving you may play a Digimon with Insectoid or Larva trait from your hand with a play cost reduced by 8 is really vital, especially because we do have a new Mega in Grand Kawagomon Ace, so they combo really nicely together. But the fact that you can play a body for free is really useful in my opinion, and all turns when this Digimon is suspended isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon, so they can't really do much to Tyrant. Tyrant Kabuterimon can climb almost over anything, but end of your turn by suspending one of your other Digimon, return one of your opponent's Digimon with DP less than or equal to the DP of that suspended Digimon by this effect to the bottom of their deck. Quite useful. Being able to remove threats off the board is really important, especially later games. Then we have Davis and Ken. Davis and Ken, to me, is an introduction to something very powerful. So it's another card that I think really isn't explored the best it probably could. I don't know. It's not talked about as much. The fact that start of your main phase, you get to play a Vmon or Warmon from your hand without paying its cost, but they, at the end of your opponent's next turn, return that Digimon, you're going to Jogress anyway. That effect becomes extremely irrelevant, especially being able to on-play Vmons or Wormmons. This leads to making your opponent just have a bad day. But in your turn, when another one of your Digimon digivolves into a blue or green Digimon by spending this tamer, gain a memory. If you DNA Digivolve, trash 3 Digi-Evolution cards of one of your opponent's Digimon. Being able to trash Digi-Evolution cards is okay. The fact that it gains you a memory to continue your plays is exactly what you need for this card, and I'm glad that all the tamers kind of got one in their own unique way, and that was vitally important for their decks, because if they're hyper focusing on Jogressing, they need to be able to get a body out for free without giving your opponent memory. So the Davis and Ken variants, really important. So let's talk about Valkyrie Ace. Valkyrie Ace is going to see some decent competitive play, and one of the biggest competitors that are going to take this card and go running with it is, guess who? That is Numemon. Numemon really likes this card because its ability to all your opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn and blank it, but also all turns when a card is removed from security stack, delete one of your opponent's Digimon at 8,000 DP or less. If this Digimon didn't delete, this Digimon gains security attack 1 until the end of your turn. So all turns, being able to, when a card is removed, to activate this and gain some momentum is really good, especially for its on play when Digivolving is really solid as well, and it's going to see some competitive play. Then we have Rapidmon X. Oh no, we're getting into the secret categories. We're in the top 3 now. So Rapidmon X Antibody, Armor Purge. Then when Digivolving, suspend all your opponent's Digimon. Then if this Digimon may attack. While Rapid and X Antibodies Digi-Evolution, all your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 4,000 DP. Making threats smaller is really important. And then all turns when an opponent's Digimon is deleted in battle or having its DP reduced to 0, gain 2 memory. That is ridiculous. This is just really solid of a card. I mean, it's got a weak stack line, but with all its power boosting and everything like that, it doesn't care about the DP mattering. Then we have Magna X Antibody, Blocker, Armor Purge. This card is the antithesis of a Towers. This thing is unaffected by your opponent's Digimon. It's going to be able to block twice. It gains 3,000 DP, becoming a 15,000 DP body. Most decks can't climb over this, but some decks can keep up with it staying at 12,000 DP. And as long as you get rid of it before the security goes pop, this thing is an easier cakewalk. And getting rid of that when Digivolving effect is vitally important just for the log haul. But with Magnamon being in a 2-color Magnamon in name, cost 5, this is really solid all in all. I think it has a lot of potential. We'll have to see what happens. And then, yes, you had to figure the best card of it all. Ukamon. When one of your Digimon moves from breeding area into battle area, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon or Tamer among them to your hand. Return the rest of the bottom deck, and you may hatch in your breeding area. The fact that this card hatches in breeding area is really scary for some players to deal with, but also taking into account that if it didn't have that hatching part, this card would have been completely fair and people wouldn't complain as much. Being able to get the card of a Digimon or Tamer really helps the synergy, and it's gonna just do what it needs to. The fact that it is hatching from breeding is what makes this card a little ridiculous, because that now brings in the play 8 Ukamons and go for it from there. But all in all, though, guys, I do think these are solid top 10s. What do you guys think? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.